Hello and welcome once again to eXPU Lab. I'm Bryon Ellington, Chief Learning Officer for eXp Realty, and I'm joined today by Alexsis McGhee out of Scranton, Pennsylvania, who's going to talk to us about all things getting started fast in this industry. Alexsis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. Let's get to it.
What other forms of lead generation were you working into the mix there in your first year?
Yeah, so in March, like I said, I made a couple of paychecks and I was over the moon. I had essentially made a quarter of my teaching salary with, for me, a lot less work. I was at home with my kids. I was cooking myself dinner. I had time to go to the gym and work out. I was like, this is amazing. I got a little taste and said, I can do this all day long, baby. Let's keep going. So I looked into buying leads and it was so overwhelming. You go online and you Google search how to buy leads or where to buy your leads from, and essentially 50 websites come up, and then you have 30 people calling you, mass calling you. Are you an agent in the area? Can we have listing leads and buyer leads and everything? And I just was so overwhelmed. I just said, you know what? Who will let me do a teeny tiny bit? I just want to sample it. I just want to do a little bit. I don't want to be locked into it. I don't have thousands of dollars. And I did go with Zillow because it's just what everybody knows. I felt comfortable. They let me do $500 a month for 6 months. And I had just that much money. And I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to pay it up front. I'm going to hope for the best and see how it goes. It went incredibly well. Personally, I do best with live transfer leads. I like to chat. You can tell this. When people get on the phone, I can be their best friend. That's very easy for me. I love a live transfer lead where they're on the phone, they're ready to go. And I would just try to go meet them as soon as humanly possible. That's something I also learned from my wholesaling business with listings that, or people who wanted to sell. If they want to meet today, I will meet you today. Can you meet now? Can you meet in an hour? When can you? I will come at this moment when they're hot on the phone. So as soon as people would call, if they wanted to go see the house right now, today, in an hour, 20 minutes, I'm out. Can you meet me now? That's exactly what I would do. I didn't spend more money than that in leads. And I also went to Facebook and just told all of my investors that I have a license now. Now I can help you on both sides. Instead of just bringing you deals, I can put your deals up. I can help you guys find more deals. I can play the middleman. Like, you let me know. I have MLS access. What can I do for you? I went to the people I had been working with, investors, and I said, how can I continue to be of service? How can I be a better service? And so that was my free lead source that I really liked. I am not from here. I've only lived here for almost 3 years. And so I don't have a sphere of influence. I made one on Facebook with investors. So the investor market was my sphere of influence. And I just pumped it and said, I have a license now. Who's ready to list a property? You know me, you like me. I answer my phone. I answer my emails. Like, what can I do for you? How can I make this easier for you? And so that's where majority of my leads came from. My little bit of buying on Zillow, but mostly pumping my made up sphere of influence from my investors.
What a great way also to get into investing yourself. And you have revenue share as a retirement opportunity. You also have investing as a retirement opportunity. If you're smart about it, you're in the market every day. You're seeing the deals even before they come on market. So when you went after these investors, first of all, you said, I went to Facebook. So tell us about that. Where'd you go?
Facebook groups are invaluable. There's a ton of them. And I'm not on Facebook a ton. If it wasn't for my real estate business, I would probably never be on, but I do go on. I am in hundreds of real estate groups, and I found groups that were in my local market, investors in my local market, property owners, rental groups, landlord groups, for sale by owner groups, any group I could find. I stay away from the buy or sell anything groups. Personally, I think there's a lot of people in there who have a lot to say about anything you post, but will never be a client of yours. So I learned to step away from those. But if you really get into the niche property groups, investment groups, home sale groups, for sale by owner groups, rental groups. Those are the people who are buying, selling, investing, they're renting, they're looking for tenants, they are tenants, they know landlords, the landlords are in those groups. That's where I went to. They're real people I see at the grocery store and at Walmart and at Target every single day. And I became all of their friends. I added them personally. I sent them a message. I started talking with them and I was very transparent. Hey, I just started in here. I just moved here. I'm really looking to help people. I've had a little bit of success. This is what I like. This is what I know. How can I help you? Or do you have anything you're willing to share with me for free? Uh, and you would be so surprised. I think it's a part of the real estate industry. Anybody who knows something is happy to share it with somebody who doesn't if they're willing to listen. And it might be a little bit of breadcrumbs, but you can pile those up and get yourself a meal real fast if you know what you're doing. So anybody who would talk to me, I was willing to listen. Anybody who was willing to share something with me, I was willing to listen. I did a lot of coffee meetings and going to look at disheveled houses and showing up at people's flips that they just wanted to talk about or boast, but I ended up in a lot of rooms where I probably had no business being there. And I met people who had 600 or 700 door portfolios in my community, people who owned massive commercial properties in my community, people who had $5, $6, $7 million portfolios right outside of my community. They're trying to get into my community. They didn't know who to talk to, things like that. So Facebook groups, niche real estate groups were a catapult for me personally.
Today, when you talk about your lead generation, is that it? Is it really just focused around investors? Or are you doing other things to meet quote unquote normal civilians?
So for now, my investors are always my top priority. That's my niche. I live it and I love it. They're a different kind of breed. I have a different type of conversation on the phone with them than I do with a first time buyer. However, my passions in life are teaching, and whether that be about how to buy a home or how to sell a home or how to invest in a home. The thing that I focus on most right now is when I get a first time home buyer, I'm trying to turn them also into an investor. That's my knowledge base. Let's get you a multifamily. Let's get somebody. I'll teach you how to be a landlord and have them pay your mortgage for you. Let's learn how to do that together. And I've also been trying to focus more on helping single family sellers a little bit more. We don't have luxury, in my opinion, in my market. Not enough that could sustain you, but there are some out there, and regardless if it's luxury or not, all sellers deserve a luxury experience. And so I have started this year to dabble in postcards and sending out mailers and trying to farm a community. I do feel like I I got into real estate here in Pennsylvania because I was really depressed leaving my home state of California, and I didn't know anybody. And I drove around one night, I was lost and I was crying, and I said I would love to just go to Target because everything in Target's the same no matter where you go, but I don't even know how to get there. I was really sad about that. So I started real estate to learn my community, and now I know it better than a lot of people that live here. So I have also started to do community events in my farming area and in the little community where I live. And I just like to host events and bring all of my past clients together, my potential future clients together, and anybody who might be interested in getting to know the girl that sends them 2 postcards a month. If you want to come out and hang out with me, then you can. And if that results in a sale, amazing. And if it doesn't, they maybe made a friend who, has a lot of information about what their home may be worth, or if they wanted to move, or if somebody, a lot of people have family relocating here. I do a lot of relocation deals as well. And so just to have somebody that lives here, that knows it, that loves it, and can tell you a little bit about it, that's been my push for my marketing at this juncture.
All right. So final piece of advice. So you had a tremendous first year, right? And there are a lot of agents who are building their business right now. Any piece of advice for them in terms of what you'd have them focus on to go have the kind of success that you had early on?
I think the biggest thing would be to know your market. when I very first started, I thought the MLS was a dreamland because I had been, running comps off Zillow or finding things in public records that were incorrect. So having the MLS was such a magical tool to me. I would wake up every day. I'm a massive fan of Atomic Habits, and so we have it stack in my house if anybody's familiar. So in the
Yeah.
morning while brushing my teeth or doing whatever I do in the bathroom in the morning, I would just start scrolling on the hot list, anything that just got listed, and I would know every listing. I think it's so important and vital that you know of all of the homes that are coming up, the homes that just went pending, the homes. So when people were calling me, I could say, "Oh, I actually just saw a house pop up today. It's a 3 bedroom. It sounds like it might be great for you. Let me send it over." Or if someone would call me and say, "Hey, I really want to see this house," I could say, "Oh, you know what? It actually just went pending today, but I do know of 2 more that are really similar. Let's talk about those." So just having that wealth of knowledge about what was going on in my market made me, one, feel super comfortable talking to people. I wasn't trying to make anything up. I actually knew this. I had just seen it this morning and I'm familiar, I'm aware. And then two, it people came to me because they thought that I just knew everything. I didn't know everything. I was just stalking the MLS. So getting to know your market really, really well, I think is super important. And then the other thing I would say is your systems.
Hmm.
It's important to know how you want your business to run and how to set those standards up for your clients and your customers up front. Everyone knows my working hours. Everyone knows that I don't answer my phone on Sunday unless we're in the heat of a deal and you need me to. But, most people know they have that expectation set up for me. So when I don't get back to them on Sunday about something, a little more frivolous that can wait, they're not surprised. And then for the people that I do call back on a Sunday, they feel super grateful that I would be willing to work on a day where I said they wouldn't, just to make sure that their deal gets done. So I think the being the knowledge in your community and also having a standard that you run your business to that you're going to stick to and abide by. If you say you work until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, then 7:59, better answer the phone. Whatever you say you're going to do it. If you're going to call someone back, hey, I'll text you this, I'll email you this, I'll send you this over. Just do it. That's the thing that people hinge on. And, it might be my 100th deal. This might be their first. And so you need to treat it like that every single time. They don't know. They're waiting. They're confused. They're excited. They're nervous. Whatever the case, just make sure that you are keeping those things in mind every time you get on the phone or every time you get in front of a client, and just understand that, like, you are not my only client. That's the thing I say in my business to all my clients. You're not my only client, but I will make it feel like you are. I promise. I will do everything I can to make it feel like I'm just here for you. In reality, I've got 30 of you we're juggling around, but I really try hard to make sure it doesn't feel that way. And I do think people love that about working with me and working with my husband and my small team, because this is a big deal for people. It's major, it's massive, and I don't miss that. Even though I'm doing it like this, like you said, that I know everything, and sometimes I have to remember these people don't. They don't know what an EMD is. They don't know. They don't know that replacing the panel box is not a big deal. They don't know. So I have to be patient and kind and work with them through that.
So tell me something that most people don't know about you.
I think the thing most people don't know, it's starting to come out more and more. I'm getting more comfortable talking about it, but about 5 years ago, 5 years ago in April, actually, I was homeless with a newborn baby with
Oh, wow.
$0 to my name. And my mother had built a nursery for my son in her house, and I ended up living on the couch of his nursery. So I did that for almost 2.5 years or so. And I think it's just really humbling to remember that that's where I was just 5 years ago, and also really inspirational that that's where I was just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I'm curious. What do you take away from an experience like that as one human to another?
That you should always be in control of what you're doing. You are always in control of your life, even if
Hmm.
outside factors or people you may have entrusted fail you. you always got you. You can get up and you can get going. And when I looked into a little newborn baby's eyeballs, I just felt like I never felt that ring truer ever in my life as my first child. And I just, something inside of me just said, you can get up and keep going. And not only can you keep going, but like you can be in charge of where you go from this point forward so that, you know, nobody can ever pull the rug out from under you ever again.
That's right. Well, in this industry, you bet on yourself. And I hope you are all betting on yourself. And I hope you take what Alexis has shared and go run with it. All right. Until next time, this has been EXPU Lab with the indomitable Alexsis McGhee. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.